My name is Maaret. I'm with Room Real Estate, and today we're talking with Dion Vokos from Farmers Insurance.
Hi there, I'm Peter Eubank. I'm a lead buyer's agent for the Madani team in Room Real Estate. I work with Maaret quite often.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. So my name is Dion Vokos. I have been an insurance agent for about 30 years now. I represent farmers mainly, certainly, but there are homes that even farmers won't write. So, the reason I have worked with the Madani team for so long and been helpful, I hope, to them is we can write any home.
Okay, so today it's August 27th today, and some people have been evacuated for up to 10 days. It was 10 days ago when the first evacuation orders came out. What advice do you give for people that have been out of their homes now after 10 days? Lots of people, there's been the assistance places, help locations for donations. Is there anything at this point that from an insurance point of view that you can give some advice?
Most people, my family included, we've been evacuated, didn't start staying in a hotel day one. Now it turns out all of the companies, every company I believe has a 14-day limit for evacuation coverage. And that coverage starts the day we filed the claim. So my clients that I filed a claim for them last Wednesday, but they didn't need a hotel until Monday, or they didn't start staying in a hotel until Monday, they would get their payments cut short because we filed the claim 5 days before they started staying in a hotel. So my advice for someone like that, including my own clients, is we have to actually cancel the old claim and start a new one the day you start staying in a hotel, the day you start needing the money. And that's very important because it is only 14 days of coverage. They are not going to cover any longer, even if you are evacuated for a month.
So Dion, are you finding that people are making claims right now, whether they know or not, if their home has been destroyed or damaged at all? And what's the process like for that?
Sure. I mean, I'm getting people who are calling me saying, I'm pretty sure my home has been destroyed. I want to file a claim for it. And it's not necessarily the best idea. What's going to happen is more than likely your adjuster is going to call you up, and let's say it was you, Pete. They're going to say, hey, Pete, I hear your home's been destroyed. And if you say, well, I'm not sure, I think it was, well, that's kind of the end of our claim. You're better off to wait until you can find out for sure.
Could you run over the scenario if somebody's house has burned down on starting from the claim, they verified that the house actually has burned down, and then what happens after that? How does that process moves forward and in general?
Obviously your first step is let your insurance company know that your home is burnt. Call your agent, call your company and say, I now know my home is burnt. And they are going to have to pay for you to be out of that home. And it varies depending on your policy. I think no policy is shorter than 12 months if your home is burnt. I believe the state is requiring us to extend it to 36 months, but that has yet to be determined. I'm waiting to hear that from all of our adjusters. But you're going to be out of your house. It takes a long time to rebuild. And that's why you need to go to your hotel and go, let's put one foot in front of the other and get my reservation extended. After, let's face it, maybe a month, you're going to need a house to rent. Start looking. It's going to get tight. Right now we have, as of this morning, was it 650 homes that are burnt in Santa Cruz County?
Structures, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right, structures, good point, not necessarily homes. And they're at 55% of the area surveyed. So there could be quite a few more to come. A lot of people are going to be out looking for homes to rent. And this is one where, if you know your home's burnt, let's start looking. The next step is really kind of a wait and see, because rebuilding a home takes time. It takes thought. It's going to be a process. My suggestion is after you have figured out where am I going to stay this week, next week, and the following week, start looking for a house and then start looking for a contractor. Find a reputable contractor and let's get this in place. You don't really need to wait for your insurance company to say, hey, we're going to pay you $100,000 or we're going to pay you $1 million. You need to rebuild your home. Get that contractor, get him tied down, because there's going to be a lot of people looking for contractors. The one thing that we find in all of these massive claims, and again, we've had a lot in California in the last few years, and I've dealt with most of them, whether it was Paradise, Sonoma, or now our fires, the CZU fire, there's a lot of people that are going to be searching for the same thing you are. Contractors, roofing materials, cement, wood, everything. So get that process started. Your insurance company will be there.
What if somebody's situation, life situation is such that they don't actually want to deal with rebuilding, they need to move out of the area or some other circumstances?
Because here's the problem, most of us have a loan. So when your insurance company goes to pay you, and it's amazing how many people don't realize this, but when we pay you for your structure, any amount over $10,000 has to be made out to your bank and you. They had that structure as their collateral, and they have the right to hold on to that check for their collateral or to pay off their loan. What they want is they want you to rebuild. So if you're lucky enough to own the home outright, yes, you can take that money and do whatever you want with it. Your insurance company is required to repay you regardless of whether you want to rebuild or not.
Can you run us through the cost estimator? I've had a couple questions about, hey, how does my, who's valuing my home? How much do I get based on my policy?
So, I mean, a cost estimator is kind of like an appraisal, except it's a little different. When you get an appraisal for your loan, the appraisal goes out and looks at the home, how it is today, and says, hey, this is what we think it's worth. A cost estimator ideally is, this is what we think it's going to cost to rebuild the home. The problem is it's a computer. They didn't see the home. They have no idea really what's there. They don't know if you have granite countertops. What you really need to know is what your policy says you're covered for. And that isn't necessarily what the cost estimator says.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you for answering that question. I guess another question is that being in the real estate industry, we do have current clients that are trying to buy in Santa Cruz County, in the Santa Cruz Mountains in some cases, and they're having a hard time getting insurance right now.
It's interesting to me because you wouldn't think it was, and I truly am surprised at what we can do. But in reality, I could insure a home today, so long as it hasn't burnt. That would be fraud. But if you came to me with a home, even in downtown Boulder Creek today, we could insure it. We can insure essentially any home, even with the fire directly across the street. There are other companies out there, but the Fair Plan is the one. The Fair Plan, I called them to verify this. They will never have a moratorium. They will never stop writing. And I mean, I literally said, I want to write a home that is in the middle of the fire. It's still there, but it's in the middle of the fire. Can I do this? And they said, yes. So and I had a client call and had no insurance, and he was in Bonnie Doon, home surrounded by the fire. Now let's face it, it can't have burnt already. That would be fraud. But if the home hasn't burnt, but the fire's coming up the hill towards your house, yeah, you can call the Fair Plan and get insurance.
Exactly. Is there anything else that people ask you a lot? Any other questions that you've run across that people are typically curious during this time when you're probably getting lots and lots of calls from your clients?
I am getting a lot of calls. The one that I don't think a lot of people understand is your evacuation coverage is for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So there are going to be some areas, for whatever reason, where you're not going to be able to get into your home. Maybe the roads are down, maybe there's trees across it, whatever it is, but you're going to be out of your home for more than 14 days. You can't file a claim for your house being unlivable because you don't have power or water, but you could look for other things. And I think the key to this one is going to be smoke. People need to file a claim for smoke after their evacuation coverage is over. And that hopefully will work. It probably is going to work for everyone. I mean, my home is a long ways away from the fire, and I mean, it smells like smoke every day when I go home. And if you have asthma, if you have COPD, if you just have allergies, that smoke's pretty tough to handle. And that is a covered claim under almost all of our policies. So that's going to buy you at least some time.
Mhm. Well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your services. And I must tell you, last week after the fire started and you insured my home and the fire was getting closer to my home, and I reached out to you, and that call back from you when you told me that I was covered and how much, and you got 2 weeks and all of that, it was just like huge, huge weight off my shoulders. And really, that was such an important call. And my house is still standing as of today. Very lucky about that, but I will always remember that call from you that following day.
I mean, that's what we want to do. We want to set people at ease. I mean, this is going to be a troubling time, especially if you did lose your house, and it's going to take some time. But what we want to be doing is helping you put one foot in front of the other and just know that we're there and we're going to help. It's just going to take a little bit of time.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time, Dion. I really appreciate it. Hopefully this video is helpful for your clients. I'm sure it's going to be helpful for ours. And we'll definitely be sharing this with folks, and hopefully we can help some more people out. So thank you very much.
I appreciate you guys letting me talk to all of our clients. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Dion.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.